Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom. Been a crazy week. Work is crazy. Taking on more responsibilities. Had an inner ear infection, which laid me to the ground last night. That was pleasant. Not. Got to the point where I started to have the early stages of vertigo. It's like being drunk without the fun to have being drunk. Not that I choose to ever get drunk. For obvious reasons, I go through that. On top of that, I've been dealing with idiots all week long. Here, for the majority part. One idiot, just to make it blunt and plain, and I may not be quoting this name quite right, but is nothing more than an Anaconda Muffet Puffet.
Oh, Beaker, what is the matter? Oh, that's very naughty, Beaker. Now you eat these clips this minute. Go on, eat. You're not so bad. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Yes. Good. Yes, friends, Muppets edible paper clips are delicious, nutritious, and nickel-plated. They're handy around the office, and they're wonderful as a TV snack. Furthermore, they are absolutely harmless. Or nearly.
You know, just can't win with people like that. I mean, what can you do with a goose-stepping idiot?
Billy Fountains, get out! Get back, Gruffy! Bash Gruffy! Get back, you flea-infested mongrel!
Well, needless to say, as long as he's far from me, I'm happy. There's not one good thing that comes out of that person. But people are just too blind to see the truth. He's been worshiping a fat red cow for decades. Not really decades, but quite a long time. And I just don't see no hope. No hope at all. As soon as a person resorts to accusations of your past deeds without facing their own, well, there's not really much you can say about it. That's all I'm going to say about NetWet and him running around with his chest all puffed out. Just don't understand it. Yeah, I had dealings with liberal. Losing on two fronts. First, they're liberal, and second, they're atheist. Can't fix stupid. I mean, I can work with any atheist that is actually a rational thinker. Because they're rational. They're not emotional. That's the key operative word. Rational. Applying facts, applying wisdom, applying knowledge. Even with that, I can work with any atheist. Change your point of view? Maybe not, but I can set it in motion where it might change later. But you can't fix somebody who is emotional, illogical, and is a liberal. Just can't be fixed. Stupid is as stupid does.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
I mean, you can sit there and you can give them the full explanation of the problem, and they just call you an idiot and just run off screaming. Why? Because they can't face the facts. I mean, we're not talking about differences of opinion. We're not talking about a difference in philosophy. We're talking facts. And when if they can't understand that, gee, we're spending ourselves into oblivion. Duh, we're going the wrong way. And you tell them point blank, the only way to fix it is to stop spending. Well, what are you going to do? Are you going to get rid of this and this and this? Yes! Why? It's not part of the federal mandate. It means it's not part of their job in the first place. It's not their place to say. It just shows how many Americans do not know or even understand their history. They don't even understand the Constitution, except how to twist it to what they want. The first 10 articles of the U.S. Constitution is to what? Minimize the federal government's role. To keep it in check. So this said thing doesn't occur. That's how little people understand their history. That's why they've been brainwashed from the age of 12. Whoops, excuse me. We're not even brainwashing at that age anymore. Brainwashed at the age of 5 or 4, all the way up. Brainwashed to think a lie. From the age of 5, the public school systems start to brainwash the child. And the brainwashing continues until they get out of college. To think a certain way. And to think if you don't do a certain thing, the whole thing falls apart, which is a lie. So they're taught a lie at the age of 5, and they continue to be taught a lie to the age of 25. That's 20 years of propaganda, 20 years of brainwashing. But they can't see it. I mean, you can even bring up the point of view. They say, hey, look here, we're going to talk about this. If you had a family household budget of, well, let's just pick something, say 40,000 pounds, right? That's your annual budget for your household, right? Well, let's say either one or both of the spouses of the household had to lose income for whatever reason. Either keep your job or make 10% less, or lose your job and lose it all. Whatever. So now you're making 10% less. In order to make up the missing 40,000 pounds, right? Let's say, for the sake of argument, this is 2 people working. Let's say for the point of argument that they start going on credit. So now they're paying a credit card bill to maintain their state of living to be exactly the same without changing anything. And let's say they perpetuate this. Now they need more credit cards to pay off the credit cards. And then more credit cards to pay off the credit cards to pay off the credit cards. So basically, they're spending themselves into oblivion. And they're not bringing in the income to pay for it all. So, and if you tell them to stop spending and start paying off their debt and be more financially responsible, they'll look like at you like you're crazy. Like, I'm not giving up this. I'm not going to give up that. We always have done this. We're not doing this. Stop. No, you're crazy. We're not talking to you. You're crazy. Who's crazy? The person that's spinning themselves into oblivion, that's going to find themselves out in the street, or the person who's telling them, stop spending, you boy! Conceptually, it's the same. What happens, and this is for a family, they'll spin themselves to oblivion. The house is taken from them. The automobile is taken from them. Basically, everything is taken from them except for the clothes on their back, and they're tossed on the street. They have nothing. They're bankrupt. Nothing. Now, let's apply this same concept to a government. If a government taxes and spends itself into oblivion, it will get to the point where it can no longer be supported. It in itself will have to fall. Now, the government that's falling has to pay its bills. It owes money to somebody, right? Now, government, who cares, owes money to bunches of other governments. Now, eventually, those governments will want their money back, especially if they hate that government. Most governments around the world do not like the U.S. government for one reason or another. They hate it. So they're going to look at this as our advantage and our time to, well, do a little payback. We're going to get a little payback, yeah. We're going to get paid back for all that pain we got from you. And they're going to take it. Liberals running around all over the U.S. trying to block oil production. Running around all over the U.S. trying to block coal production. Running around all over the United States trying to block natural gas production. If you guys knew it or not, the U.S. is the chief #1 producer of what? Natural gas. And with the amount of liberals we got running around blowing off their methane out of their back end, no wonder. Who's crazy? Not me. We don't have to do all the trash we're doing. It's time for people to do their own stuff and let them deal with their own responsibilities. It's not the federal government's mandate. Federal mandate is real simple. Treaties, right? War and defense. Interstate commerce. To be truthful with you, that is the only 3 things the federal government is authorized to do. Now, there is also mandates in to maintain a concise law base. So, yeah, liberals, every time I speak to them, it's just like speaking to a horse's ass. Nothing you can say about it. And it gets worse. I mean, you got the idiots on the other side, too. I mean, I can think of one person right now, I'm not going to mention my name. Him and 70 other idiots went into a given restaurant, armed to the teeth. To say that is publicly stupid is an understatement. See, I support the Second Amendment, but I don't support stupidity. That's like taking an armed force into a restaurant to say, hey, we're going to do this. Why, no, you're not, because you're scaring off our customers. To say it's a duh moment is an understatement. Biggest duh moment I can think of. After Columbine and all the other killings, with people just walking in with guns and blowing people away, you see 70 people go into a restaurant, armed to the teeth, bearing arms, will scare the living bejesus out of anybody, even a person who supports the Second Amendment. I can say, yeah, I support the Second Amendment. Guess where I won't be? There. Because several things could occur. One person of the group could go crazy and start shooting everybody. Yeah, the other people are armed too, but they're not to say that they're going to get to the guy or girl in time to kill them before they get done taking a good toll down. And it don't take long. Second possibility. Let's say a place gets robbed. You got 70 people firing off weapons all at the same time. You got a whole lot of bystanders that could get injured and harmed. Stupid, stupid, stupid. I don't know what to say. I mean, these people are like taking it as a religious, zealous move, which reminds me of this.
You're married to this piece, this weapon of iron and wood, and you will be faithful. Port here. Prepare to mount. Mount. Port here. Pray.
This is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine. rifle true. I must shoot straighter than my enemy who is trying to kill me. I must shoot him before he shoots me. I will. Before God, I swear this creed. My rifle and myself are defenders of my country. We are the masters of our enemy. We are the saviors of my life. So be it, until there is no enemy, but peace. Amen.
I endured that in basic training, right? I endured that in a couple other places I was. I'm not enduring that in my own life. Sorry. I am a rational, intelligent thinker. That's not the answer. That's called terrorism in my book. Outright terrorism. It's terrorism what the left is doing, it's terrorism what these people did. Both sides are wrong. In this case, I'm more in the middle. Say no and no. I'm serious. This world is in very deep kimchi. It's getting worse. I mean, you got the irrational, pretend I'm a Christian attitude, and people buying off on it, which is really disturbing. You got fruitcake liberals that can't add or do mathematics, nor do they know their history, nor do they know their Constitution, nor do they know anything other than the brainwashed trash that they were taught. And then you got the fruitcake right trying to scare the living hell out of everybody. I'm looking at a lose-lose here. Everything from religion through politics. And there's no win-win. I mean, I personally think it's wrong to shoot somebody. Yeah, I do. I do. I think it's wrong to shoot somebody. Not so crazies. You can't help but be worried about the state of the world when you got this kind of insanity running around. I don't know what to tell you guys. I need to work on my rapture thing, but I've just been so entwined in these ignorant people that I ain't even worked on it. I mean, I've done this sermon, I don't know, at least 5 times already. So it's not like I'm doing anything. I think I already got the sermon written out somewhere. And I got another sermon for the Once Saved, Always Saved. I got a full-blown sermon on it. And I got another sermon that was written by a person that I know by the, well, let me use her YouTube ID. Miss Silver Dragon 1, she wrote it. And I still have a copy of it. And it's quite intuitive to what she put together. And I got the whole thing on that. I mean, I knew about it, but she took it to a whole new level. I will say that. I will say that. She took it to a whole new level. Of course, that was before we started throwing complete mountains at each other on a daily basis. Yeah. Yeah, lately I've been worried about my mother-in-law. I hope she's doing well. But from what I'm getting from Issa, I don't like what I'm feeling. Hope it's the wrong impression. There's sometimes where he says things I don't quite understand at all. But I hope I'm right in that by saying it's an overacted perception. And I hope that she's doing quite well. Because I keep seeing things I cannot explain. Well, I'm not here to bore you guys. And wish you guys the best. Take care. I'll try to do the rapture thing tomorrow, if I can pull myself together to do it. Shalom.